Good morning, students. Welcome to Chanak Academic Online Classes, Standard 10th, Subject Science, Chapter number 7, Control and Coordination. So let's start with today's topic, that is hormone and endocrine system. Yes, so we have started with hormones in animals. Yesterday's lecture we did about what exactly is hormones, what are its function, and what are endocrine glands. Okay, so these few topics we did yesterday. So today we'll see what exactly are the hormones which are secreted by humans. Okay, so let's see. But first, before moving it, I just want to give some more points in reference to hormones. So first let us see about that topics. Yes. So in today's lecture let's see some of the properties of hormones. Okay. First is each hormone is produced by a specific kind of cells. Okay. So that means whatever hormones which are present in humans, each and every hormones they are produced by a specialized kind of cells. Okay. Second one is hormones are not effective at their site of synthesis. Okay, that we have discussed, that they are produced somewhere else. Okay, they are synthesized somewhere else, and their action or their flow is or effective organ is somewhere else. So they are moved with the help of blood, that is circulatory system. Okay, so hormone are not effective at their site of synthesis. So wherever they are synthesized, at that area only or that organ only, they will not be present. They will move from that area. Okay. Now third point is hormone are poured directly into blood. They are transported through blood to a specific organ and influence specific processes occurring there. Okay. So this we have explained that they are synthesized at one part or one organ or one area. From there they are poured into blood, and through the circulatory system or with the help of blood they are moved to their targets regions. Okay, so they are traveling. So this influence may be stimulatory, inhibitory. These hormones are regulator chemicals. Okay, so what exactly are hormones? They are regulator chemicals. They regulate the mechanism. Okay, and their nature is they are chemical in nature. Okay, so that's why we call them as regulator chemicals. Okay, and what are their influence? Either they may be stimulatory or inhibitory. Okay, that they will stimulate that particular organ to release hormone, or they will not release that hormone. Next one is hormones are used up in producing their regular effect. Okay, whatever they are producing, they producing their regulatory effects. Okay, the regulations are done with the help of these hormones. And chemically hormones are peptide and steroid. So the nature, what are its nature? Either they are peptide or they are steroid. Some are biogenic amines. Okay, so some of them, only few percentage of the hormones are amine in nature also. See, this peptide and steroid, you must not be having any idea, but don't emphasize right now. Peptide are basically the amino acid bonds which are formed. Okay, this also you have not done amino acids. I don't know you have, but Here, just remember that hormones are basically of two types, that is peptides and steroids. Okay, so these are some of the properties of hormones which you should have an idea. If a short note is coming, so if you want, you can include these points also. Write the definition of hormones and then you can explain the main properties of hormones also. Okay, yes, now let's move further. Yes, see, we did about glands also. Let's read this. What they are saying is that a gland which do not have a duct and secrete its product directly into bloodstream is known as endocrine gland. Okay, so they will not have a duct where it will secrete. So where they will secrete the hormones, they will secrete directly into the bloodstream. Okay, so that is why we call endocrine glands as ductless glands. Okay, so hormone is produced in one part of the body but it acts on other part of the body. Okay, so this is the main thing about your endocrine gland or your hormones. Okay, so hormones are kind of chemical messengers. Okay, so messenger means taking message. So it is taking message from one part of the body to the another part of the body. Okay, so they are synthesized at one part and their action or their acts is going on another part. Okay, so let's see what all glands do we have in our body. Yes, so these are the glands which are usually found in humans. Okay, so here you can see they have shown two example, okay, of human beings. One is of male and one is of female. Okay, so we have different endocrine glands. So let's start with the glands. See, what you have is the main part is your hypothalamus. Okay, this hypothalamus, it will activate your pituitary gland which is present. Okay, so in male also and in female also you will have these hypothalamus and pituitary glands. The area and the place it's same. Okay, there is no difference. Hypothalamus will secrete some hormone and that will activate your pituitary gland. Okay, yes. After that, what we have? We have pineal gland, which is present in both male and female. Then we have thyroid glands. Okay, parathyroid glands. Then thymus. Okay, pancreas. Okay, now see, pancreas we did in our, where we did? Yes, we did in digestive system, that pancreas is secreting the pancreatic juice. Okay, so pancreas is an endocrine as well as exocrine gland. Okay, so here we will talk in reference to endocrine. So pancreas is there, then adrenal gland is there. So all these are present in both male and female. Now the one difference is that in male you will have testes and in female you will have ovary. Okay, so here this is the only difference. Rest all the endocrine glands are same in male and female. Okay, now let's look further. Yes, and now this one is a clear picture. Okay, so hypothalamus you see, okay, and you can see pituitary gland. So pituitary gland is just below your brain. Okay, that is your cerebrum, which we did. Just below your cerebrum you will have a bulbous structure which will be known as your pituitary gland. Okay, So hypothalamus, pituitary gland and pineal gland will be basically in your head region. Okay, so these are the three. Come to the next, that is thyroid and parathyroid gland. Thyroid and parathyroid are present in your neck region. Okay, then in your chest region you will have thymus. Okay, so I am just showing the placement. Where is the position of these endocrine glands? Then comes the pancreas. So pancreas, it will be below your stomach. Okay, adrenal gland. Adrenal gland will be placed above your kidney. Okay, we have two kidneys, left kidney and right kidney. So just above your kidney you will have an adrenal gland. Now ovaries, it will be present in females at the pelvic region, and testes in male, again they will be present in pelvic regions. Okay, so now these are the positions of an endocrine gland in humans. Now see here, listen very carefully. These glands will produce certain hormones. Okay, what are these glands? First of all, these are endocrine glands. Okay, and what they will do? They will produce some hormones. Okay, thyroid gland will produce a hormone, parathyroid gland will produce another hormone, thymus will produce, pancreas will produce. So each and every gland which is present here, which you can see in the figure, will produce a hormone. Okay, so this is the site where they will be produced. So from there it will move to their effective areas. Okay, so you can say here that these glands will be having some specialized cell. Okay, they will have some specialized cells, and these specialized cells will help in formation of particular hormones, and these hormones will be released into the blood. It will be transported with the help of blood, and it will reach their particular area or gland. Okay, where their action will take place. Understood? Are you clear? Yes. Let's move further and see what they are talking. Yes. Let us examine some example to understand how hormones help in coordinated growth. We have all seen salt packets which say iodized salt or enriched with iodine. Why it is important for us to have ionized salts in our diet? Okay, so this I think so you have seen in advertisements. Okay, that they are advertising that our salt contain iodine. Now why we require these iodine in our salt? Okay, salt ratio, or we can say that percentage requirement in our body is minimal. Okay, so even though it is minimal, why it is required and why is it essential to take iodine in our diet? So let's see. Iodine is necessary for the thyroid gland to make thyroxine hormone. So now understood why we require iodine? Because iodine is necessary for the thyroid gland to make thyroxine hormone. Now what this thyroxine will do? Okay, thyroxine regulate carbohydrate, protein and fat metabolism in the body so as to provide the best balance for growth. Iodine is essential for the synthesis of thyroxine. In case iodine is deficient in our diet, there is a possibility that we might suffer from goiter. One of the symptoms in this disease is swollen neck. So this situation, I think so you must have heard previously that iodine is required because iodine regulates, or we can say iodine is necessary for the thyroid gland to make thyroxine. Okay, it is helping in the synthesis of thyroxine hormone. So thyroid gland will produce which hormone? See, thyroid gland will produce thyroxine hormone. And how it is produced? When we get iodine. Okay, now what is this thyroxine hormone doing? It is metabolism. Okay, metabolism, that is the carbohydrate, protein and fat metabolism in our body, so as to provide a best balance for growth. Okay, so whatever we are consuming in our diet, carbohydrate, protein or fat, their metabolism should be proper, it should be balanced. So as for growth we require proper amount of energy, proper amount of diet. This thyroxine is playing a very important role. Okay, and see, if we are not getting sufficient amount of iodine, okay, if we are taking salt which is not containing iodine, then what we will have? We will face from goiter. Okay, we will suffer from goiter. We will face this disease which is goiter, where the swollen neck is being formed. So that is why iodine is important for thyroid gland, so that it can produce thyroxine hormone. And this thyroxine hormone, it keeps a balance between carbohydrate, protein and fat metabolism. Understood? So like this, each and every pituitary gland which I have shown you, okay, will be helping you in some or the other ways. Now let's see what are the function of each and every gland. Okay, see, just remember then: hypothalamus, pituitary, pineal, thyroid, parathyroid, thymus, adrenal, pancreas, testes and ovary. All these have their important functions to perform. Okay, they have their important functions to perform. So one by one, let's take them and let's read about them, what they are doing in our body. Okay, what are their main function in our body? So let's see. So first let's start with hypothalamus. Yes. So first, what is the role of hypothalamus? So hypothalamus is responsible for the regulation of certain metabolic processes and other activities of autonomous nervous system. Okay, so metabolic activities which are going on in human bodies, all are being regulated by these hypothalamus. Okay, so hypothalamus control body temperature, hunger, important aspects of parenting and attachment behavior, thirst, fatigue, sleep and cardiac rhythm. Okay, so all these is maintained and controlled by hypothalamus. So just make a note, what are the main function or what are the main role of hypothalamus? That is keeping our body temperature constant. Okay, then hunger. Okay, after some time, if you are feeling hunger, from where you are getting this sensation? This sensation is sent by your hypothalamus. Okay, then thirst, like thirst also. After few time, if you are not drinking, automatically you have an urge to drink water. So from where it is coming? The signals are coming from hypothalamus. Okay, sleep also. Okay, fatigue, if you are feeling tired, all these are the main function of hypothalamus. And cardiac rhythm. Okay, circadian rhythm. So all these are being regulated and maintained and controlled by your hypothalamus. So whatever you are feeling, any attachment behavior you have, like from your pets or from your parents, hunger, thirst, sleep, the temperature, all these are being controlled by hypothalamus. Okay, and where these hypothalamus is present? They are present near your cerebrum. Okay, let's see the diagram which we have studied previously. So you will be clear where exactly is the hypo. Yes, so we did the brain structure. So here you can see we have a region which is known as hypothalamus. That is, this will be your forebrain. Okay, so attached to the forebrain you will have hypothalamus, and just below the hypothalamus, which you see, what you have, you have pituitary gland. You see over here, so this is your pituitary gland. So both of them are present in your brain. Hypothalamus, okay, which is just below the cerebrum, and pituitary also, which is near to hypothalamus. Understood? So with this I end today's lecture, because see, one by one we'll take the glands and I will discuss its functions and role. So today I have finished with hypothalamus. Again, few things are there in pituitary and hypothalamus which I will take when I will do pituitary gland. Okay, so with this I end today's lecture. Thank you and have a nice day.